The Duggar family has always been a symbol of unwavering faith, large family dynamics, and unity under the patriarchal leadership of Jim Bob Duggar. For decades, Jim Bob and Michelle presented themselves as the unbreakable force behind the ever-growing Duggar clan. Their marriage was often held up as a shining example within conservative Christian circles. But now, rumors are flying that the seemingly rock-solid couple may be going through something that would shake the foundation of everything they've built, a possible separation. Yes, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, parents of 19 children and longtime figureheads of the evangelical quiverfull movement, are now at the center of swirling allegations that they are no longer together, at least not in the way fans have long assumed. The whispers started subtly. Fans noticed that Michelle wasn't by Jim Bob's side at several recent family gatherings. And when she was present, she seemed distant, quiet, and at times, almost emotionally checked out. Longtime Duggar watchers began pointing out that Michelle no longer wore her signature warm smile in public. Instead, she appeared withdrawn, even sad. Meanwhile, Jim Bob has continued making appearances at community and church events, but conspicuously alone. Observers were quick to point out that this is highly uncharacteristic of the couple, who used to be inseparable, especially at public events. The man who once insisted on his wife's presence by his side, even during the smallest engagements, now seems content to show up solo. Social media hasn't helped tamp down the speculation. In fact, it's done the opposite. Duggar family members have posted group photos that suspiciously leave out Michelle or crop Jim Bob into solo frames. Family events, especially those involving the grandchildren, have been strangely quiet when it comes to shout-outs from Michelle. And fans noticed, she hasn't posted a heartfelt happy birthday or anniversary tribute for Jim Bob in quite some time. So, what exactly is going on? Several sources close to the family, both former friends and anonymous insiders, have shared that tension between Jim Bob and Michelle has been mounting behind the scenes for years. And it's no surprise why. Ever since Josh Duggar's scandals exploded into public view, the Duggar empire has slowly started to crumble. Public backlash, the cancellation of their show, financial stress, and fractured relationships among the children have all put enormous pressure on the couple. Michelle, who once seemed perfectly aligned with Jim Bob's strict rules and conservative worldview, has reportedly changed significantly over the last few years. One insider claims that Michelle has started to quietly question some of the harshest elements of their family lifestyle, especially those enforced by Jim Bob. She's allegedly been spending more time in prayer and personal reflection, and less time enforcing the rigid family codes that once defined the Duggar household. Insiders say Michelle has even formed closer bonds with some of her more independent daughters, like Jill and Jinger, both of whom have publicly stepped away from the Duggar family's teachings. In particular, Michelle is rumored to be watching her daughters' journeys and reconsidering some of the control mechanisms that were used under Jim Bob's authority. But Jim Bob, he hasn't budged. According to reports, Jim Bob continues to uphold the same patriarchal rules that shaped the Duggar family brand. He allegedly remains unwilling to accept the changes happening around him, not only in his marriage, but also among his children. This resistance to adapt may be at the heart of the growing divide between him and Michelle. Sources say the couple is still living under the same roof, at least officially, but emotionally, they're worlds apart. Michelle is reportedly sleeping in a separate room and has taken steps to create space for herself within their massive Arkansas home. Meanwhile, Jim Bob is said to be increasingly withdrawn, surrounded only by the children who still align with his views. Another red flag? Family insiders say that Michelle has been spending significant time away from the Duggar compound altogether. She's been spotted visiting friends and even attending Bible studies without Jim Bob. For a woman who once rarely left her husband's side, this is huge. It points to a growing desire for independence and possibly even an emotional separation that has yet to be legally formalized. Friends who have spoken off the record say Michelle is no longer the woman who once preached total submission to her husband. In fact, she may be quietly encouraging her daughters to think for themselves and choose different paths, far away from the control that defined her own life. As for Jim Bob, he's reportedly furious about Michelle's shift in perspective. One insider even claimed that he feels betrayed and undermined, especially by Michelle's rumored support of their wayward children, like Jill, who has famously spoken out against the Duggar household rules and has broken ties with the IBLP teachings. Tension reportedly reached a boiling point earlier this year when Jim Bob attempted to assert control over one of the married daughters' lives, and Michelle sided with the daughter instead of her husband. The incident, according to insiders, led to a massive argument behind closed doors, one that left the family shaken. It's worth noting that this isn't the first time rumors of marital strife have plagued the Duggar parents. But this time, the signs are more visible, more credible, and far harder to dismiss. Adding fuel to the fire, Michelle has recently been seen without her wedding ring. Fans were quick to notice this subtle but powerful detail during a recent family gathering. Michelle's hand, usually adorned with her modest ring, was bare. While that alone might not mean much, in the context of everything else, it speaks volumes. Let's not forget how this family once preached about unity, headship, and lifelong devotion. For Jim Bob and Michelle to even appear to be separated would be a massive blow to their image. But perhaps that's why the family is being so quiet about it, because the truth might be too difficult to explain to their faithful followers. Adding even more intrigue to the situation is the fact that some of the Duggar children have been unusually silent on social media. Joanna, Jessa, and even the usually outspoken Jill haven't made any public comments about their parents lately. It's as if they're all trying to avoid drawing attention to something they know will eventually come out. And the grandkids? Many fans have noticed that Michelle is missing from key birthday parties and milestone celebrations. For a woman who once prided herself on being the loving, always present Grandma Duggar, this absence is a red flag. So, what happens next? At this point, there's no official word from Jim Bob or Michelle. The couple has neither confirmed nor denied the separation rumors. But the silence itself is telling. The Duggar brand thrives on public statements and curated appearances. Their absence from those things only adds more weight to the possibility that something major is happening behind closed doors. Some believe the couple may eventually announce a formal separation, but others speculate they'll simply continue living separate lives under the same roof to avoid public scandal. After all, admitting to a failed marriage would be catastrophic for their image, especially given their public preaching on the sanctity of marriage. What's clear, however, is that Michelle may be done playing the role she once accepted so easily. Her evolution has been quiet but consistent. And if she's truly pulling away from Jim Bob, it could inspire even more of her children and followers to question everything they once believed about the Duggar lifestyle. Of course, not everyone is convinced that the separation is permanent. Some believe this could just be a rough patch and that the couple may reconcile. But others argue that the damage has already been done. After decades of submission, silence, and service, Michelle may finally be waking up to a different kind of life, a life where she chooses for herself. Regardless of whether they separate legally or continue their split informally, the cracks in their marriage are becoming impossible to ignore. For a family that once prided itself on being untouchable, the reality is starting to show, and fans are watching closely. The Duggar family empire has weathered many storms. But this could be the beginning of a total unraveling. And it's not just about Jim Bob and Michelle anymore. It's about the legacy they leave behind, the children who no longer walk the same path, and the truth that can no longer be hidden behind curated smiles and carefully posed family portraits. Stay tuned, because if the rumors are true, this is just the beginning of a Duggar-sized shakeup that no one saw coming. Hello, lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Karistina. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.